All right, well, let's get started here. So we're going to talk a little bit today about the Axiomatics policy server, about what several of its capabilities are. So at the very basics of what we do here at Axiomatics, we're big proponents about externalizing authorization from applications, as represented here by this cube. Typically, most our customers come to us and they have lots of applications and they have a lot of authorization code embedded in to those applications. So what happens is they end up with many different silos of authorization code spread out across many applications. It becomes very difficult to manage and becomes almost impossible to know what your authorization requirements are and if they're actually implemented properly across all your applications. So to help address these issues, we bring the notion of externalized authorization to the table. So what this means is the applications no longer contain the authorization logic. Instead, these applications make a call out to our authorization service, which provides all the authorization answers for them. Now, this is done through the notion of something called an enforcement point. This is the bridge or the communications gateway between the applications and our authorization services. These applications use these enforcement points to ask our authorization service all their authorization questions. For example, an application may need to know, hey, I've got this user Alice, and they're trying to view a record 123. So in the old days, the application would have just processed this itself, use this custom code to decide, hey, should I allow Alice to view the record or not? So our change here is we're going to implement the notion of an enforcement point. And now the application, instead of doing all this extra authorization work, now it just posts a question to the endpoint on our authorization service. So it gathers up what it knows, in this case, the user's identity, Alice, the record they're trying to view, 123, and of course, what they're trying to do to it. Are they trying to view it, edit it, delete it, update it, etc. So it takes this information, it posts it to the authorization endpoint on our service, where it gets evaluated against a set of policies. So the goal of these policies is to the goal of the policies is to authorize all incoming requests. So for example, some of these policies may be, hey, the owner of a record can view it, or you can only view sensitive information if your citizenship matches the country classification of the data. So these authorization requirements can be simple ones or can be complex ones. So what happens is the authorization engine evaluates that against the policies, determines whether it's a permit or deny, sends a decision back, in this example, permit, to an enforcement point, and then the application has to abide by that decision. So it enforces that decision. If it's a permit, it allows that execution to go through. And if it's a deny, we have options here that we can actually send extra information back, say, hey, you were denied because of this reason, go call our service desk. So we can definitely provide some extra information to enrich those decisions coming back, especially in denied cases.